The narrative of Elden Ring is deep and rich, from the expansive world-building to the epic stakes of the Tarnished's quest. One of the places where this narrative shines through the most is in its characters. The lands between are populated with deep, fascinating figures, whose decisions and motivations will leave a profound impact on the Tarnished's journey to rebuild the Elden Ring. From intimidating bosses to close allies, Elden Ring is home to some truly fascinating female characters. Some of these women come to life in intricate quest lines, while others are major historical figures whose legacy can only be learned through item descriptions and flavor text. Here are some of the most memorable female characters in Elden Ring. Number 10. Queen Marika. Queen Marika the Eternal is arguably the most important character in Elden Ring. This divine figure conquered the lands between in ages long past and imposed her religion, the Golden Order, on the entire land. Her machinations set most of the events of the game into motion. When the Tarnished returns to the lands between, it's in chaos because Queen Marika shattered the Elden Ring, which imposed order on the realm. She subsequently vanished, disappearing deep within the Erd Tree. In addition to being one of the most influential characters in Elden Ring, Queen Marika is also one of the most inscrutable. Her largely unknown motivations for shattering the Elden Ring and banishing the Tarnished are a point of considerable discussion and speculation among fans and Elden Ring characters alike. Number 9. Millicent. Millicent's questline starts innocently enough. A sage asks the Tarnished for help procuring a gold needle that he believes will aid Millicent in her struggle with the Scarlet Rot, a deadly affliction which is present throughout the lands between. Once the needle is obtained and repaired, Millicent begins a journey across the lands between in order to confront her past. As it turns out, this past is more sinister than it appears. Millicent is descended from Malenia herself, the source of the Scarlet Rot and the manifestation of its divinity. Gowry, the kindly sage who helped cure her in the first place, actually wishes to see the Scarlet Rot flourish in her and bloom, just as it has in Malenia. The Tarnished is faced with a choice to aid Millicent on her journey or betray her, furthering the goals of the cult of Rot. Number 8. Hyetta, a mysterious and sinister maiden. One of the most important aspects of Elden Ring is that the Greater Will, as represented by the Golden Order, is far from the only divine force meddling in the lands between. This is where Hyetta comes in. When the Tarnished first meets this kindly blind woman, she claims she is a humble finger maiden in search of a golden light. The fact that her journey requires a steady supply of shabriri grapes, which are diseased eyeballs, suggests that her quest isn't quite as innocent as the Tarnished, and maybe even Hyetta may have been led to believe. Number 7. Sorceress Sellen can be encountered fairly early on in Elden Ring. Spellcasting Tarnished will make good use of her, as she sells a good variety of glintstone sorceries. Like many other spell merchants, her inventory can even be expanded if she's given more spellbooks found throughout the Tarnished's travels. However, Sellen's story goes far beyond simply acting as a spell vendor. She's the center of a long and complex quest line that will take the Tarnished all over the lands between. Pursuing this quest will teach the player about Sellen's past as a sinister figure known as the Graven Witch. It also exposes some of the darkest secrets of the Academy of Raya Lucaria and the nature of glintstone sorcery itself. Next, number 6. Nepheli Loux. While Elden Ring is a very open-ended game, most players will find themselves visiting Stormveil Castle as their first major dungeon. It is here one can meet Nepheli Loux, a powerful warrior who is here to dethrone Godric the Grafted. Nepheli can be summoned to help take down the monstrous lord, and her assistance in combat is invaluable. Her proper questline only begins after Godric falls. As the Tarnished befriends and accompanies Nepheli, they will see some of the darkest corners of the lands between. Nepheli's personal journey exposes her to corruption, manipulation, and atrocities. The player can either help her keep her resolve in the face of utter darkness, or take advantage of her for personal gain. Aiding Nepheli helps her develop into a truly noble lord, who will rule over Limgrave with wisdom and justice. Number 5. Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. Rennala is one of the 5 shard-bearers players can challenge for a piece of the Elden Ring, and she's also one of the most tragic. As the leader of the Carian royal family, Rennala led her academy against the Golden Order in a series of brutal wars that only ended when she fell in love with the Order's champion, Radagon. When Radagon abandoned her, her sorrow led to the collapse of Raia Lucaria, once one of the strongest factions in the realm. By the time the Tarnished confronts her, she's become delusional, obsessed with rebirthing her scholars using the mystical golden egg Radagon gave her before he left. During the fight, the player must battle not only Rennala, but an illusion of the Sorceress Queen, representing Rennala at the height of her power. The stark contrast between these two forms highlights just how heartbreaking Rennala's descent truly is. Number 4. Roderika's adventure in the lands between came to an abrupt and horrifying end when her soldiers were grafted onto Godric's minions in Stormveil Castle. When the Tarnished finds her, she is despondent and traumatized, and she will swiftly flee to the Round Table Hold once she's given a measure of comfort about her fallen friends. Roderika's storyline involves her coming to terms with her perceived failure at Stormveil Castle. With encouragement from the player, she eventually flourishes as a spirit tuner, allowing her to upgrade spirit ashes. This function makes her indispensable to the Tarnished. But seeing this kind young woman recover from her trauma and strive to do right by her allies is arguably the greater reward.
Enticed by the one in the white mask, I suppose. Oh, you've come to be one with the spider? Well, that makes us two peas in a pod. But I don't have your courage. It's scary, you know, having your arms cut.
Number 3. Melina. The enigmatic Melina is a very prominent character who acts as the Tarnished's companion throughout the game. Since the Tarnished lacks a maiden to help them channel runes into strength, Melina fills that role, making her extremely important from a gameplay perspective. Melina's origins are murky, but she wishes to reach the Erd Tree to learn more about who she is and what her purpose is. The Tarnished's bond with Melina grows over the course of the game, but the mystery surrounding her deepens as well. As a likely daughter of Queen Marika herself, Melina's status in the world of the Lands Between is deeply significant, and this makes her apparent anonymity all the more surprising. While speculation runs rampant about some of the more elusive details of her backstory, her steadfast bond with the Tarnished and her determination to enter the Erd Tree make her a truly remarkable companion. Number 2. Malenia, Blade of Miquella. Malenia is one of the most famous boss fights in Elden Ring. Despite being buried deep in the hidden location of the Haligri, her impact on the Lands Between is palpable. Her famous battle with the legendary Star Scourge Radahn blanketed much of the land in scarlet rot, which continues to fester and spread to this day. As a demi-goddess and Empyrean, Malenia is a candidate for godhood and a potential ruler of the Lands Between, which makes her affliction with the scarlet rot all the more alarming. It also makes her backstory more impressive. Malenia is motivated primarily by a deep, abiding love for her sibling Miquella, and much of the training that made her such a peerless fighter was dedicated to locking away the scarlet rot that roils within her. Malenia is truly a legendary figure, and fighting her appropriately feels like crossing blades with a deity. Number 1. Ranni the Witch. The elusive Ranni the Witch lies at the center of one of Elden Ring's longest and most involved quest lines. Players who follow her story eventually learn that she is a descendant of Rennala and Radagon, a demigod who is fit to inherit lordship over the Lands Between. However, Ranni actively defies her fate, casting away her body and rejecting the guidance of the Two Fingers. By allying with Ranni, the Tarnished can aid her in steering her own destiny, forcing the stars into motion and orchestrating the death of the godly Two Fingers. Her determination and her secretive nature make Ranni a deeply compelling character, and her ending, which sees the player become Ranni's consort and lead the world into a new age of mystery and discovery, is one of the game's most popular.
Who would become my lord? Perhaps I needn't have warned thee. I am pleased, however. Thou art a fitting choice. I go now to the night sky. It is there I shall find mine order. I bid thee, travel the path of the Lord, and once all is done, we shall see each other once more.